Pi Network entered the top 20 coins a few days after launch. This is the biggest crypto airdrop in history, even bigger than Uniswap. And like most launches, there was a quick dump after launch. Typically, it ends up going down even further, and this is normal because early investors want to take profit. But then all of a sudden, this coin skyrocketed. My friend has been telling me for the last 7 months that he's mining Pi on his phone, that he's going to make money. And the whole time I was telling him, you're crazy, man. You're just tapping your finger on a phone. You're not going to get anything. Now he made a quick $1,000, but there's people who made even more. I knew about this thing 6 years ago, but I totally wrote it off. And now it finally launched on February 20th. Obviously, if you got the airdrop, you're in a good position. Maybe you sell partials, or maybe you hold, right? Because you didn't have to pay a lot for it anyways. But just know you're not going to time bottoms, you're not going to time tops. And technically, this isn't an airdrop, some say, because it was mined, right? People had to put in some time, some work in order to receive these tokens. But whether it's airdrop or mining, these tokens were not bought. But what about those of you who are thinking about getting into the token now? Is it a good time to buy? Well, let's get right into the main reason this coin had the typical launch dump and then suddenly skyrocketed. I mean, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is at 10. This is the lowest it's been since 2022. And while the whole market is nuking, Pi Network is pumping. Why? Because of a potential Binance listing. And right now, Pi Network is not trading in most places. It's on Gate.io, OKX, BitGet, and MEXC. The problem is that if you live in the United States, you can't use this. If you do have tokens and you live in the United States, you can sell them on Pionex US. I've never used this site myself. I don't know how safe it is, so use it with caution. So the funny thing about this potential Binance listing is that it's just a community vote. You can see that 192,000 people said yes, and 29,000 people said no. And Binance made it clear, while we value and consider the vote results, they are for reference only and do not determine any decision or action Binance may or may not take. These results are not final. So there's no guarantee of a Binance listing. And when it comes to these big exchange listings, it's not great for everyone. It's good for the people that got in early because when it gets listed, they have someone to sell to. Now, in this case, it wasn't even an exchange listing. It wasn't even the announcement of an exchange listing. It was simply a community vote, and that alone was able to pump it. So if we actually do get an announcement of a Pi listing on Binance, we may see another pump. But in terms of buying, it's all about risk to reward. How much money are we willing to lose? And if we're right, what is the potential gain? And one of the key factors in determining this is the market cap. We have to know how big or small the market cap is because this lets us know if there is room to grow. Can the coin do a 5x from here, a 10x, a 20x, or more? The problem is that the market cap for Pi Network is pretty confusing right now. On CoinGecko, we see that the max supply is 100 billion tokens, and the total supply right now is 10 billion. This has given it a fully diluted valuation of 27 billion. But this is not what we want. What we want to know is the circulating supply right now and the current market cap. Heading over to Explorer Pi, we can see that a little over 6 billion Pi tokens migrated, 1.2 billion held by pioneers, the people that were tapping on screens, and 4.7 billion locked. So given this information, CoinMarketCap has given Pi Network a market cap of 17.7 billion. It's mentioned here, CoinMarketCap has not verified the project's market cap. However, according to the project, its self-reported circulating supply is 6.6 billion. These explorers are not as advanced as something like SolScan or EtherScan, where you can truly see everything on chain. So right now there's some confusion about what is the true market cap of Pi. In addition, how's the distribution? Heading over here, we can see, for example, that there's this amount of pioneers that hold less than or equal to 1 Pi. And as you go down the list, you see at the end, there are 19 pioneers who hold over 1 million Pi. But we don't know exactly how much. Is it 1.5 million someone holds, or is it 20 million or 50 million? It's likely that these bigger holders are core team members. And it's not always a bad thing if you have these large holders, depending who they are. For example, when we look at TON, this is a top blockchain. Surprisingly, their top 10 holders own 62% of the tokens, and the top 100 holders hold 92%. Basically, TON is held by 100 people. And I believe this is Pavel Durov, the CEO of Telegram. And he's already worth $15 billion, so he doesn't really have any need right now to sell off these tokens. So in this case, it has helped TON. So looking at this Explorer for Pi, I'm not exactly sure what's going on. What about the utility of this coin? The goal is to be a transactional currency for everyday use. It's brand new, however, so wasn't really able to find examples of people paying or accepting this currency, though I did find this Florida real estate company that accepts Pi for payment. Overall, there's a lot of unknowns about this coin. The explorers are not as precise as Etherscan or Solscan. I don't know exactly what's going on or who's holding what, but something positive I should say about Pi is that it appears there's a lot of people in this network, which is a good thing. Some say it's even like a cult. And in crypto, you actually want to be a cult. There was a lot of people tapping, mining over the last 6 years. And this is the goal of crypto. I mean, that's kind of the point, to make it as widespread as possible. Pi claims to have over 60 million users. And I don't know if it's true, but even if it is true, how many of these users have access to their tokens and how many have their tokens locked? But something that has changed for me is I don't write things off right away. This is crypto and you never know what's going to happen. But in the case of Pi, there's just too many unknowns for me. The risk to reward is not there. But you might think it is, especially if you mine this token, your risk is a lot lower. Is Pi the next big thing? I don't know, but this is crypto and anything can pump. So instead of asking yourself, is it time to buy? Ask yourself, what is the risk to reward? Are you putting in $100? Maybe you'll get a 2, 3, maybe 4x if things go great. But if things don't go great, maybe you lose $50. But putting in 10K, maybe that's all your money. Maybe you get a 2x, 3x, maybe a 4x. But there's also the risk that you can lose $5,000 overnight.